and today we have some great news or some awesome news to share with you regarding the next stimulus bill that is being negotiated in Washington right now. There is word that we may have a stimulus deal by the end of this week. That's because Senators Joe Manchin and Senator Bernie Sanders have been meeting together for the past 2 days, and there is information that there is a desire to get it done by the end of this week. Now, it's funny how things can just turn around after a good night's sleep. These two were literally lashing out at each other last week in regards to the stalemate of the reconciliation bill. But this week, now that the House and the Senate is back in Washington, these two high school kids have been seen together taking photos, and they have met privately 2 days in a row while trying to get things done in regards to passing this stimulus bill. Now, meanwhile, the Democrats have become furious this week over the recent demands from Joe Manchin. This is in regards to the demands that he placed on voting for the child tax credit extension. Manchin has a few requirements in order for eligible families to continue to receive the child tax credit, and the Democratic lawmakers are not happy at all. Now, those are just some of the topics that we are going to cover today, but if this is your first time to the channel, hey, welcome and glad to have you. On this channel, we talk about finance, real estate, credit cards, Bitcoin and crypto, and stimulus update news. So, if you're interested in any of those, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. That way you can join our community. Also, if you end up liking the content in this video, or even laughing at one of my jokes, then be sure to like this video. Other than that, guys, hey, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Okay, guys, let's start off with a little bit of Bitcoin news. For starters, Bitcoin is almost at its all-time high of $64,863, which was reached back in April of this year, and then falling down to $28,000 in June and July. Bitcoin is now teetering near the all-time high once again. But on Monday, the first Bitcoin futures ETF opened up on the NASDAQ stock exchange, which the ETF rose by 4% in its first trading debut. Now, if you're interested, the symbol for the ETF is BITO, or BITO, which trades around $42. Now, owning this ETF does give you the opportunity to trade Bitcoin at a cheaper and more affordable price. But be mindful that you will not own your own Bitcoin by owning this ETF. So if you want to own Bitcoin directly, you need to sign up with a platform that allows Bitcoin purchases and storage of crypto. And I have a few links down below if you are interested. Also, guys, in other news, North Korea has fired another missile launch. This is North Korea's latest missile test of a new weapon that was launched from a submarine. The North Korean state media announced that a detected ballistic missile launch off its east coast on Tuesday was a newly developed weapon test fired from a submarine. Now, these are just the latest in a series of recent missile launches into the sea, happened hours after the U.S. officials emphasized their commitment to restart negotiations on North Korea's nuclear weapons program, which have stalled since the talks broke down during the Trump administration. The claims by the state-run Korean Central News Agency fit with detections by South Korean officials of a missile launch about 10:17 a.m. on Tuesday local time from the vicinity of Sinpo, a North Korean test site for submarine-launched missiles. Now, in regards to stimulus news, Senators Bernie Sanders and Joe Manchin are recreating their bond to each other. For the past 2 days, they have been meeting with each other in the negotiation process on a revised stimulus reconciliation bill that Joe Manchin would feel comfortable in supporting and giving his vote. Recently, Manchin and Senator Christine Sinema stated that they couldn't support a massive bill worth $3.5 trillion, even if the bill would be paid from tax increases on the wealthy. Now that President Biden has agreed to lower the price tag of the reconciliation bill while removing some provisions, Manchin is open to further negotiations with Senator Bernie Sanders. Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders to seek a deal on the Biden agenda. Senators Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders are seeking to reach a deal on a path forward for President Biden's economic agenda by the end of this week. The negotiations between the Senate's most important centrists and leading progressives was described as a breakthrough by the one Democratic senator amid stalemate talks over the Senate-passed infrastructure bill and a larger social spending package being crafted in the House and the Senate. The Democratic senator said that we've made breakthroughs, describing a sense of optimism shared by multiple Senate Democrats after a lunch meeting where Manchin said that he would work directly with Bernie Sanders. Now, universally, there was a desire to get this done by the end of this week, said a Democratic senator who participated in the meetings and noted that Manchin indicated he will try to reach an agreement with Bernie Sanders on a framework for the reconciliation package by week's end. Manchin and Sanders met for the second time this week on Tuesday evening just off the Senate floor, a sign that they're working quickly to get a deal as soon as possible. He said, "I think this thing has dragged out for long enough, and the American people want it to be resolved," Sanders said after a meeting, added he and Joe Manchin will meet again this week. He said, "I think there's a strong feeling within the caucus that we either fish or cut bait to get this thing done, or we don't get it done, but that it does not continue to drag on forever." Sanders and Manchin over the weekend had seemed to be at each other's throats, with Sanders writing an op-ed in a West Virginia newspaper decrying Manchin's position on the economic negotiations. The Sanders op-ed is to the Charleston's Mail argued that giving Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drugs and expanding Medicare benefits, something that Manchin has expressed opposition to, would help West Virginians. Now, we have seen poll after poll after poll showing the overwhelmingly support for this legislation. Yet, the political problem we face is that in a 50-50 Senate, we need every Democratic senator to vote yes. We now have only 48 votes. 2 Democratic senators remain in opposition, including Senators Joe Manchin and Senators Christine Sinema. But this latest news from Joe Manchin has triggered a furious response from Manchin, who is known to dislike interventions by other politicians in his home state. He hit back in a tweet accusing Bernie Sanders of wanting to throw more money on an already overheated economy, while 52 other senators have grave concerns about this approach and dismissed Sanders as an out-of-stater. So far this week, they have been meeting to discuss the size of the revised bill, as well as discussing how to include the bill for lower drug prices and those enhanced coverages for Social Security recipients, such as the hearing aids, the vision plan, and the dental coverage, which is what they were working on right now. The new revised bill is expected to be around $2 to $2.2 trillion. And then we heard from Press Secretary Jen Psaki, and she talks about the urgency that the Democrats have right now to get a new bill done and passed very quickly. And here she is.
The president is certainly feeling an urgency to move things forward, to get things done. I think you've seen that urgency echoed by members on the Hill who agree that time is not unending here, and we are eager to move forward with a unified path to deliver for the American people.
Does the sense of urgency have anything to do with the president's trip coming up in just a matter of 8 working days? Does he feel the need to get this wrapped before he leaves?
The good news is that there are phones and video conference capabilities overseas for every president and individual, so I'm not here to set new deadlines or timelines. But it is also true that we have been at this for some time. The president proposed these plans back in the spring. We have been, he has participated in dozens and dozens of calls, of meetings, of engagements with members to hear their viewpoints, to understand where they're coming from, to reach consensus. And we are at a point where we feel an urgency to move things forward. And the the pickup of meetings is a reflection of that.
The Democrats have gotten really angry with Joe Manchin after they heard of his demands in regards to the child tax credit extensions. Manchin voiced his requirements that they were needed to extend the provision if the Democrats want his vote on this bill. So yes, right here, the Democrats are at odds with Joe Manchin over the child tax credit provision. Senator Joe Manchin's position on the child tax credit has proved an obstacle for Democrats as they craft the social spending package, with both progressives and fellow moderates taking issue with the West Virginia Democrats' stance. Manchin said that he wants there to be work requirements for the child tax credit. He has also indicated that he thinks there should be means testing to lower the income limits for the expanded credit. Now, Democratic lawmakers and left-leaning groups say that Manchin's proposal could weaken the tax credit's ability to reduce child poverty and to help families cover critical expenses. I think that this talk about means testing for what is essentially a tax cut is wrong-headed. The expanded child tax credit is a tax cut, per Senator Raphael Warnock told reporters on Tuesday. The coronavirus relief law President Biden signed in March included a one-year expansion of the child tax credit. Now, Democrats are pushing to extend the expansion as part of their multi-trillion-dollar package that is expected to include funding for child care, education, health care, and climate change. Now, previously, taxpayers have had to have at least $2,500 in earned income to be eligible to get any credit, and the credit amount gradually increased above that threshold. As a result, an estimated 27 million children received no credit or a partial credit because they were part of low-income families. Now, Biden's relief law made the lowest income families eligible for a full credit amount, a concept known as full refundability. The coronavirus relief law increased the maximum credit amount from $2,000 per child to $3,600 for each child under the age of 6 years old, and $3,000 for each child ages 6 to 17 years old. In addition, the measure directed the IRS to create a program under which the agency makes monthly advance payments so that families receive portions of the credit in installments. So yeah, we knew the party would not like it once they heard Manchin's pushing for these requirements on the extension of the child tax credit, especially knowing that the whole process for giving the provision, which is to help low-income families and to cut child poverty in half. Now, this child tax credit was passed in the American Families Plan, and they hope to extend the provision for years to come. Per President Biden, it's for working families with children. This child tax credit sends a clear message: help is here. But anyways, guys, hey, my time is up for today. Now, if you enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button for us. It definitely helps out a lot. It also tells YouTube to share this video with others. Anyways, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.